Rather, the attacks of shaitan and Dajjal has always been what is called indirect. Indirect means you don't see the individual. The individual, he's sitting far away sometimes. But he's making such a formula that his effects are going to go all over. That's harm. Otherwise, one-on-one, then the amount of people he'll manage to harm in the world will be 20, 30, 40. But when you don't take an individual yourself, and then your intention is to hit everyone with your effects. Example, someone throws water from the top. Because he throws it from the top of the roof, it falls on many people. So all people get wet. But if he comes in front of a person and throws it, one person will get wet. So from far they throw it. So the harm of the Dajjal was what was going to be called magic. Such spells were going to be made in the world. So normally when we hear of spells, we think of jadoo and sangomas and black magic, and that's also part of it. And it's we see the harms it causes. But that was going to be like basics then. Because Ali radiallahu an, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, when he explained to him that you will go through a lot of problems also. He told Usman radiallahu an also, giving the basharat of Jannah, but there will be musibats that will knock him. Difficulties. When Ali radiallahu an was told, musibats are going to knock you. So he said, ma'as salamatin fi deen. That will my deen be looked after. So he told your deen will be looked after, but the dunya will be a lot of it. Because how many wars took place there? Ali radiallahu anh asked for support, but where he got the support? There was so much of fights. So when he heard of musibat, the first thing he asked, ma'as salamatin fi deen. Will my deen be looked after? So he was told your deen will be looked after. He said then, I'll make sabr. So what jadoo, what we know today normally, it affects a person's dunya. It doesn't affect his deen. In his dunya there's problems. Sometimes they say in the marriage is not going well, but it's a dunyawi issue in the ending. Like we're fighting. The business is going down, but so much of emphasis is put that get ilaj. Because even that musibat in dunya is like a big musibat. But the magic of shaitan and Dajjal was going to be bigger than that. That was like the basic. It was going to make masa'ib fi deen. It was going to knock a person's religion. For some it was going to put them in fisk, and some in kufr. So major magic. And because it was going to be so widespread over so many centuries, so the last two surahs of Quran that came down, because we all know that a person memorizes what's at the beginning and what's at the ending. Ask a student, what do you know? He'll say, fa'ala, he'll never forget that. It started. And you ask him of Bukhari, what you know? You see the last hadith. But every ayah the same thing. Thaqilatan fil mizan. Ask him, anything else of Bukhari? No. Anything else of Ula? No. Similarly of Quran, if you ask the whole ummah what you know of Quran, but I don't think you'll find someone who says Surah Fatiha, I don't know. Ibtida, they know it. And the intiha, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, they all know. The last two surahs, when we used to read it in madrasa, it was in our mind that these two surahs were revealed to ward off magic. And it's always like, think about it, like what such great surahs. But the only time people worry about these two surahs is if someone made jadoo. Whereas jadoo is not like an arm thing that's going to hit the whole world. Otherwise, these two surahs for the normal person was just two surahs of Quran. But if you have to understand that how broad this magic was going to be, that it wouldn't use the name magic anymore, but it would take different names. And one of the biggest names of today's time, one day when I mentioned that someone showed me one card, called this, I don't know what, the Illuminati cards or something, whatever it's called. So these cards, what they do is like 60 years, 70 years before it happens, because they're already preparing the way for it. So before it happens, already on their cards they write, like, and they play games in their clicks to show, like, example, so and so will be killed and this will happen, because they got lot plans. So in their plans, one card was written, we will make the world forget magic and they will call it science. So it's a unique sentence, but that's what it is. that science and technology, what we call today, it's magic. And what it has made, the whole world went confused. And no one understands like how it came out. No one was flying in the skies. And in today's time, like everything is happening. So broad it was. So then when you look at these two surahs, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, then you'll understand in these two surahs there's a lot of power. Because a lot of people say how to get out of an addiction, how to get out of this fisk that I'm involved. But in the ending, what you caught up in this magic. Because what is magic? It's a spell. The web of a spider is also like a spell. But when that insect gets caught, and the more it tries to pull away from that web, the more the web goes around it. Because it's sticky. So you push here, you get caught here. You push there, you get caught. The Quran amazing that it even said the web of shaitan is like the web of a spider. That whoever falls in it, there's a very easy way to get out. But that person doesn't do that way. And he'll do the way which that insect does. That after that he gets worse. You ask a person, why you did this? He said, because of that problem. So instead of getting better, you went more. Every time you're supposed to pull out, you go deeper, deeper. So this is that web. So it's a magic spell that's thrown. Now that person wants to pull out of the spell. So one of the best ways is Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. Because it was these two surahs that was promised, that it will suffice you from every shay. Shay, I mean everything, but it meant magic. Because it was revealed to ward off sihr. So Allah Ta'ala made it that the Jew in the era of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was no small Jew. Labid bin Asam. That is why that sihr that it made hit. Otherwise there were many other Jews also. They must have also been making a lot of sihr. But it never affected Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But this one affected. And you can understand how close he used to work with the shayateen. That years later, which could be like about 100 years later, when the issue of Khalq Quran came, and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and everyone knows it. But that was in an era of the Abbasi. And Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal had to fight it. So those that made research to find out who started this word Khalq Quran, because when you will do it in madrasa, you will understand what a funny ikhtilaf it was. But it was made such a huge thing. The whole ummah like shook. So they explain so and so started it. They give a name and they say, and he learnt it from this person. And as they trace it and they say he learnt it from the son-in-law of that Jew. And then, so it means that that same Jew in the era of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was doing his black magic also, at the same time he was teaching his son-in-law one creed regarding Quran called Khalq Quran, which was only going to become prominent 100 years later. But he prepared it. Who would have taught him at that time? Because in his era, Quran was being taught. No Sahabi even asked this question, is it created, non-created? Why he was teaching it? Because he was working very closely with the very strong shayateen. So he was a very, very master sahir. So his magic was like what is called magic. And on that magic, these two surahs came down to show it will wipe it out. And Nabi Sallallahu showed the tariqah, and the tariqah is mentioned in the books of ahadith, how he would read it. Sometimes you'll read Qul Huwallahu Ahad first, and then the two surahs, then you will blow in your hands. And then he would rub. So when you rub something, the purpose is that there's some effect on me, I'm taking it out. So you rub your eyes, so that that spell that fell on the eye comes out. You rub your ears. According to what you feel you caught in a spell. For some boys you'll tell them they'll rub somewhere else. Wherever you caught, don't do a wrong rub. But wallah, if you rub this thing, and you see that spell falls out, you just say, I came out like. Because a man who's caught in a jinn story, and you say the amil does something, then he just comes conscious. And when you explain to him what you did, how you were fighting, how you were swearing, he say, I never. How could I do it? So suddenly if that spell comes out, then a lot of things which we thought were enjoyable, suddenly you'll get nafrat for it. Someone will say, I just eat anything. But if that spell comes out from the tongue, you do a good job and you rub it. After a while you'll find that when that food is brought in front, you just feel upset. So there was a reason that dua was taught. That, oh Allah, between ma'asik, your ma'asiyat and me, if you can create a barrier, like you got a barrier between the heavens and the earth. So what was that barrier? That I hate it, I can't go there. And it happens. But you need that. So if your eye is sick, then rub the eye. Read those 2 surahs, blow and rub it. And in rubbing it, say, oh Allah, take out that spell. Because if the eye wants to, it can see a lot of unique things. And if the eye wants to, it can see a lot of dirty things. Depends on what the spell is.